Main Street Exchange, presented by the North Canton Area Chamber of Commerce and North Canton City Schools TV 11. These programs focus on economic, educational, and governmental and community issues directly impacting North Canton and the surrounding area. This edition of Main Street Exchange looks at many of the new businesses locating in the district, and our guests are Reader and Vanessa Carlson of Ladies Super Fitness and Terry Fravel of Boomerang Advertising. I want to welcome everybody to the Main Street Exchange. We're in a much bigger profile here today because we've got three guests instead of the usual one. We periodically have done this where we've brought in businesses that have been around for maybe a few years, and in your case, 6 months here in the North Canton area, and try and find out a little bit about what got you into becoming an entrepreneur, some of your background, what your businesses have to offer. And I guess we'll go ladies first. So Vanessa and Rita, you're involved with Ladies Super Fitness, and you've been here a very short period of time so far. Yes.
We recently opened our gym in September, and before that we lived in South Carolina, so we're also new to the area as well. Fitness and health has always been my passion. I'm a physical therapist, and before moving here, we had a gym in South Carolina as well. And what really inspired me just growing up, my grandfather was the first entrepreneur and probably the only one that I ever met for a long time until I became older. So just kind of seeing how he ran his businesses, whether it was retail, a small, grocery store, and then he got into more real estate. That was really inspiring to me. So I just kind of always knew I wanted my own business growing up.
Okay, and how does Reader fit in? I mean, first of all, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
So you're a husband-wife team on this.
Yes, correct.
So what's your role in this, Reader?
My role is the business systems to make sure that everything's running smoothly and like the basically all the business side. So I got my degree in business management and entrepreneurship from Long Island University in Brooklyn, but I guess it's just been a long journey for me. Since 2006 is when I first read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And the whole thing about passive income really intrigued me. I'm like, man, I'm working so hard, but I mean, if I don't want to work, then I'm not going to make any money. It's like the time equals money type deal. I liked his take on it, that being a business owner is time plus money once you get to that, where, you do the work one time and then you get paid passively after that. And that's been basically, but the thing is, I had to learn the system first. And so it's been a long journey from 2006 to figure out what works, what doesn't, and basically taking menial jobs just to learn the systems, and then now where we are now.
And then now we get to facilitate it in our own business and make things duplicatable so that, for instance, we're not there in our gym, but we know what our trainers know what to do. They know how to greet, our members and customers, and how to keep those systems running smoothly so that we can still be in business. And
you folks are located, Fisher's is up there on North Cleveland Avenue once it leaves the city limits. The Soul Pie Pizza's there, the BMV office in Puckers. You're in that general area, right?
Yeah, we're right next door to the BMV and Soul Pie.
Okay, and how are things going after 6 months? Are you happy with progress so far?
Oh yeah. I mean, people don't really necessarily like change at first, and so we just one or two people, probably 3 or 4 people come in the door a day, and I mean, we just change one person's name, one person's, I guess, their perception towards us at a time, because I mean, we're new, and so people just have to get to know us.
Okay, well, we'll get back to your offerings here in a little bit. When people do walk in the door, they'll find, but I have to bring Terry in. You've got a business that's been around roughly 10 years, but here in North Canton about 3 or 4. Located on South Main, and most people know where Rose and Lobster Louie's is, and you're in that little office complex there. So tell us, how did Boomerang, first of all, why Boomerang Advertising, and secondly, how it all started?
Well, first of all, my advertising background started as an advertising rep with a local radio station. Then I was down in Columbus for a few years working for a television affiliate. And honestly, the corporate world was just not my thing. It seemed like the publicly held companies were more about what can we do today to make money rather than what's good for the long term for our clients. So after kind of floundering around in the corporate world and not being happy, I thought, you know what, I'm going to go out and do this on my own. So then I came up with the idea for Boomerang Advertising, and the name comes from return on investment.
Okay.
Most business owners sometimes feel like they take their money and they throw it away when they advertise. I teach them how to throw their money out to the community or the marketplace and have it return as a return on investment. So that's kind of where the name came from.
Okay. And things have been going very well for you, I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's entrepreneurship is a very tough thing. I wouldn't recommend it for anybody who can't deal with stress. And I started in 2006. Everything was going great. 2008 hit. That was a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah,
But
try taking over a Chamber of Commerce in the middle of a recession.
I can't imagine.
I've been doing it for 8 years, and we've been lucky and had so many valuable people that have stayed with us throughout all of that, and now we're on this upswing again. So, I mean, I can relate to all of that as well. So, when you, your portfolio, it's not, I guess advertising is a big word, advertising and marketing, but there are so many different subsets of that. And you guys get involved in all of that, right?
Yeah, we consider ourselves a full-service advertising agency, but anymore it's a lot of social media that kind of dominates the advertising landscape now. People are learning to use it. Facebook can be used more like a radio station now than just a platform you use to just communicate with fans. So that is a big part of what we do. And then we also, over the last few years, we seem to grow more and more as a restaurant agency. For whatever reason, we brought on Old Carolina 8 years ago. And now more and more restaurants are coming our way. So now we're doing food photography, you know, full service campaigns, all kinds of stuff.
And it's not a business that you're the only one in. I mean, I went through our list of our chamber members, and we have, counting you, 34 people, companies, organizations, advertising vehicles that are vehicles for marketing and advertising. So how do you separate yourself from those other 33?
It is tough. It's a very competitive marketplace.
And they're all good people. That's one thing I do want to point out. I mean, we've got some quality people in our chamber, including you
Absolutely.
folks. So how do you get out there and say, okay, I'm better than this?
Well, I can proudly say we've never been fired permanently.
Okay.
I always joke, Old Carolina, they fired us 3 times, 3 years in a row. They were growing so fast, we just couldn't keep up.
Sure.
And they said, hey, we have to move on to other things. But then I'm proud to say they always hired us back.
Okay.
And I think a big part of that is our dedication. We really, truly care about the growth of our clients. And that's one of the reasons I went into business, because I said to myself, I don't want to push something that helps me meet a quota. I want to do whatever's best for my client. And I think that's why we've never permanently been fired by anybody.
That's quite an accomplishment in that world, trust me, because I came from it and I know what
It's
it's all
all,
about.
it's customer service.
I mean, Terry and I were out on the street selling against each other for a long time when I was in media. You folks, the Super Fitness, is that a franchise? Okay,
No.
so this is a name that you developed and logo you developed, and then so how did you come up with this concept of Ladies Super Fitness as opposed to, let's say, Powerhouse or something like that that's a little more focused on, you know, that you have the, you know, you could go to Charleston again, or you could go to Madison, Wisconsin, and you'll find one of these. I mean,
Right.
what's Ladies Super Fitness all about?
So this isn't a franchise in the traditional sense, but it is a partnership.
Okay.
So we were in South Carolina, and we met this multimillionaire who owned a lot of these Lady Super Fitnesses in Mexico, and it's called Gimnasio, Damas or whatever, and he also is a very philanthropic and entrepreneur around the world, and so he had the gym in 30th Street, and so what he did was he brought us up, we made a relationship with him, and he brought us up to basically be a partner in his facility.
This is the one at 30th and Market. That used to be there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we were able to get to know him, and he was able to get to know us. And we had a gym at the time, which was more of a personal training gym, and he just got to know our goals. And we wanted to open something bigger. And in our gym, we wanted to have machines and things like that. And as a therapist, I'm always thinking about function, so
Sure.
being able to offer that as well. And his idea was, would you ever think about a ladies' gym? And I said, well, at that time, our membership there, it was co-ed, but it was 70% women. And I said, well, this may be biased, but I think women are more motivated. And so he said, well, I have this idea, but it would require you guys to move. So we came up here, and then we just kind of checked out the area. We prayed about it, talked about it, and then here we are. So we came for the opportunity. And in terms of what we offer there, it's a ladies-only private club. And the idea is to give, what we've realized in our experience and in our journey, a lot of times ladies don't know what to do, or people may not know what to do. And as a woman, it's nice to have that time away, maybe from your family, maybe from work, just to kind of have your me time. So at our facility, we're a little more hands-on than more of the traditional gyms. With your membership, it includes personal training, so you're going to basically maximize on your time and minimize the guesswork. So, which the ladies love, which is awesome.
And all of your staff, other than readers, are
Oh,
ladies.
we're all women.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Raider is basically the only guy you'll see, and he's more of like the making sure the systems are running
Sure.
smoothly, tech stuff, and then whatever we need.
Okay.
So he's kind of like the guardian.
What are some of the challenges? In other words, you walk into a brand new community 6 months ago, you open up this, I'll call it a gym, but it's Ladies Super Fitness. And you had to hit some challenges in regulations, in things like workers' comp and things like that. What did you have to go through to get this thing open?
So our challenge is different from the normal business owner. We went through all that before in our old gyms and all that. I mean, workers' comp. And even before our old gym in South Carolina, we actually tried to do a massage business in Pennsylvania. And we went to workers' comp, and we went to what's a contractor versus an employee and stuff like that. But thank God we do not have to deal with any of that right now. Like our partner takes care of all the payroll, takes care of all. He's got a whole accounting team. So basically, so our challenge right now is putting the word out, basically, in a fashionable and acceptable way where people will actually want to come in and meet us. Because a lot of people, we've learned, they do things out of habit, even though they don't necessarily like the other gyms or sometimes, but they just do it because their friends are there or because that's what they've always done. You actually your pain has to outdo your pleasure before you want to change. And so that's what we're waiting on, is people to be upset with their current situation, come and even look at us to see what we offer. So that's our challenge, is every day.
Okay, just to make sure people know, first of all, you're there, and second of all, that you're there, that you can chat with them about what they're doing now and what they could be doing.
Correct.
And at the end of the day, they could be happy with where they're at, and then you folks are happy with that as well, because eventually they'll come back or tell somebody about you. What about, I know you hinted at it a little bit in some of our earlier conversation, Terry, but what about some of the challenges of getting a marketing firm going up? And again, I mentioned 33 other firms in our chamber, and then you look at other chambers around the county and Northeast Ohio, and businesses that don't even belong to the chamber, and now you have people working out of their basements that can do a pretty good website. So what are some of the challenges that you faced over this last 10 years?
The challenges were, I think a lot of it was brought on by myself. I came from the sales background. I thought I've got a great mind for sales and generating new business and working with clients and customer service. And I thought, that'll get me through. But what I found out was I didn't know how to run a business. So the biggest challenges for me were figure out operations, systems for getting things done as efficiently and as effectively as possible. So a lot of that was what I struggled with at first. It's a whole new world, going from just knowing advertising to running a business. And also coming from radio and television, I thought, I can easily transition into advertising, but what I realized is I didn't know that much about the entire advertising landscape. So there was a lot to learn, and honestly, I just felt comfortable with what I was doing in the last 3 or 4 years. Okay. But I started out in my basement. Just like you said, it was, hey, one-man show.
Sure.
If I was to recommend anything to anybody thinking about getting into this, don't try to do it all. I was a graphic designer, I was making radio commercials, I was doing all the selling. I took on way too much, and that actually limits your growth. You need to get good people in each role to help out.
Well, that makes sense. We've talked a lot about challenges, and I don't want to even get halfway through this without talking about rewards. And so what are some of the things that you've felt the positives about now that you're up and running?
I think we have a great staff. We have a great team of ladies who are just passionate about what they do, and honestly changing of the mindset of some of the ladies. Like I said, our model's a little different, where we're offering the personal training with the membership, and when a member actually gets it, and now they're getting, like we've only been open 6 months, and we already have this awesome victory board of members' blood pressure going down, cholesterol, inches, weight, their confidence, all of that stuff, to be able to show new people coming in, this is what's happening. This is what's happening when you have an environment that's where a woman can feel free, have fun, be safe, and then have the resources and the tools at their fingertips to get results. So I really think the victory of our team, having the staff there that just love on the women, and then just the results that the ladies are getting and their mindset that it's not I have to work out, I want to work out. It's not that, oh man, you know, the weather's bad, I missed my workout. It's like, man, I want to get in there, you know? So once that mindset, the body will do pretty much almost anything unless there's something majorly, you know, medically going on. But when the mind changes, it's a whole new ball game. And now they're bringing in their friends or their daughters or granddaughters. So that's pretty amazing.
So that, and what about in the advertising world? Obviously, return on investment is good if you see more cars sold or more sandwiches sold or whatever. That's a reward. But beyond that, what will be a reward in what you do?
The reward for me is seeing businesses grow. And Old Carolina would be the best example of that. You know, I basically started with them from the beginning. So I got to see them grow from 1 unit to 2 units to then they expanded pretty rapidly into Michigan and Cleveland. And it was really fun to watch. And it's fun to know that you have some part of that.
Do you work with the other brands as well?
Yes.
Baja
Yeah.
and Smoke?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the biggest joy I get out of it. And then when I decided that I was going to not be a one-man show and I was going to hire some people, and I got my office in North Canton, now I'm finding that a huge part of what I enjoy too is mentoring young people, bringing in interns and kind of showing them how it works and giving them insight into entrepreneurship. So I get a lot out of helping my clients grow, and then I get a lot out of you know, building the culture.
Well, and you mentioned North Canton, and one of the questions I wanted to ask before we do run out of time, why did you decide to locate here?
I just like the area. It's it's a bad way to say it, but it's not pretentious, but it's just a really comfortable. Everybody seems nice. It's a pleasant area. It's clean. Developments look nice. It's just a good fit.
Sure, absolutely. How about you folks, speaking of fit?
Well, our partner has been scoping out that building for 4 years, and he's been putting offers on it every year for the 4 years. And finally, I mean, so he looks at all these things, but he found it was a good fit for him, and then brought us into the mix.
Okay.
So.
And it's a high growth area. I mean, technically you're not in the city, but you're certainly within not only this school district's area, but also that the township up there and all of that is just growing like leaps and bounds. So I would assume that a lot of people that don't want to travel any further south can duck into your place and they're happy to be there because they're back home in 5 minutes. What about the rest of Northeast Ohio? How do people in your businesses affect your businesses? In other words, if you look north to Akron or you go to Youngstown or whatever, are there trends in your business that you have to keep up with in order to be on equal footing with them, or do you do your own thing?
Well, in terms of what, like cutting edge technology?
Yeah,
or?
technology, equipment, you know, different, I guess, programs that you can offer. I mean, how do you keep up with that?
Well, honestly, we actually go to trade shows once a year. We actually just came back from LA this last weekend, and we were looking at new equipment and stuff like that. We're actually probably going to get into some hydro massage in our gym, you know. But we're kind of in a different animal. We're not like a conventional gym per se. We're a ladies only private club, you know, and there's not a lot of people like that. It's very hard to just focus on one demographic. If you're, for instance, like the whole curves thing, I mean, if you don't get enough business, I mean, you know, you go under, and it's a tough deal for a lot of gyms. But you know, even Planet Fitness came in, and Bally's went out of business, and and so you almost have to really just have a niche. And just it's keeping the members happy and coming up with different things for them, and it's just always thinking of new things.
Okay.
Like
Honestly.
what Terry said, it's just that customer service. If you're taking care of your members, you know, they're gonna bring in more people. And so when you come in, we're gonna know your name, we're gonna know you, your story, and your body, and be able to meet you where you are to get you where you want to be. So I really think that's what's made us successful in South Carolina, and bringing that mindset, and just, you know, you're not just going to be another person coming in and out. We're not going to be in your face either,
Sure.
but we want you to, you know, get what you need.
How about in advertising? I mean, you know, since you and I were in the business, I mean, things have come along like satellite. You can advertise on Pandora now. You've got all the social media. There must be a new platform every day. How do you keep up with all of that to be relevant and to be successful?
It's a tough balance in this market because you know, I worked in Columbus, and you've got a large population. So let's say Snapchat's the new big thing. With a population that large, if you want to market on Snapchat, there are enough people in that area on it where that it can financially make sense.
Okay.
In this market, it is a little more old school. People still do read the newspaper at a certain age level. People still do listen to radio. So it's just finding that balance between knowing what's new, what's cutting edge, changing our operations to meet how the trends are changing, and also not abandoning completely the traditional, what would be considered old school.
So if
marketing.
something goes crazy in Cleveland, you don't necessarily chase it like a rabbit.
No, it has to match the market here.
Right, okay. Well, I want to make sure people know how to contact you. We've mentioned where your locations are, but I know you've got a website, you've got a phone number, so tell us a little bit about how they can get in touch or even stop in and see what Lady Super Fitness is all about.
Yeah, so a lot of people ask us, you know, well, we have a website and we have Facebook and all that. In terms of, you know, what we offer, it's best to come to the gym to actually walk in. We actually give guided tours all the time because we're different. Every piece of our machinery is actually, you know, catered towards women, you know, and so we're not like Planet Fitness or we're not like the Y. We have just everything is laser focused for women to be more empowered and for them to know what they're doing, you know. And so, yeah, I mean, you want me to give a phone number or something?
Go for it.
330-536 FIT, F-I-T-T, or 330-536-3488.
And our website is superfitnessladies.com.
Okay, and then you do have Facebook, so you
We
can
do.
check
Yep.
on all of that.
Yep.
What about Boomerang? And you've got an interesting website.
Yeah.
So
Throwstick.com.
Throwstick.com.
Yeah, and obviously, when I was looking for web addresses, anything with Boomerang and it was taken, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But then I found out that the original name of the Boomerang is
It's a
Throwstick.
right?
And of course, nobody had Throwstick. What is that?
Maybe somebody in Australia.
Yeah. So now I have this clever name, and every time I tell somebody what it is over the phone, they go, Pro Stick? What was that again? How do you spell that? It's like, okay, there's got to be a better way. But throwstick.com, just like it sounds, pick up a stick and throw it, or 330-933-7339.
Okay, and I know we put the websites up on the crawler while we've been talking, but if somebody does forget or doesn't write it down, they can Google either one of your locations and that will come up. Well, I want to wish you 10 more years of success. I want to definitely go more than 6 more months, okay? So maybe 6 years of success, but we appreciate not only your chamber membership, but also your location in the community. Anything I missed at all in our conversation that you'd like to share that I didn't ask? How about you, Terry? Anything? I think we covered everything.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
not everything, but within the time limits, yeah.
Any specials you want to talk about before we wrap up? If
all
somebody's
special.
watching this and they want to call you and they say, hey, I just saw you on TV, would you give them a break?
For sure. When you come in, we'll tell you all about it.
Okay,
Great.
all right.
Yeah.
So in case you just got in 20 minutes into the show, then you'll tell them what they missed.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Anything for you that?
Hey, customer service is special. We really don't run specials.
Right,
We just try to do a really good job for
Okay.
our clients. And if there's a business owner out there that wants help growing, we'd be happy to see what we can do.
All right. All right. Appreciate all of you folks being
Thank
on Main
you.
Street Exchange, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah.